The term dark night of the soul was thought up by John of the Cross almost 500 years ago. He was imprisoned at the time. Nowadays, this term is becoming mainstream in the spiritual world, and for good reason. It is a very large hurdle to get over on our spiritual journey. A hurdle we'll have to continually jump over. It becomes easier as you go, either because our hurdles get smaller or we get better at jumping over them, or simply because we know it is part of the journey. To me, I see two kinds of dark nights of the soul, and both end in ego deaths. The first is the one you'll go through before coming here, before deciding to walk this mystical path you're being called to. If you try to cling to your original regular life of drinking on the weekends or every night, or working 9 to 5 Monday to Friday, of trying to have the best car, the best kids, the best schooling, if you're still clinging to the rat race that is our advertised lifestyle, you probably wouldn't be here. However, if for some reason you have found yourself listening to this and you are still in the prescribed lifestyle, then know that your soul wants you to awaken. I see a lot of people walking about dead in their souls. I think when the Bible repeatedly talks about the consequence of sin being death, they mean just that. Later, they start to briefly refer to this as hell. These are physically lived situations. Your body is going through the motions, and your ego might even be thriving. You might very well be the best, but your soul is in turmoil. Your soul can and will throw you into a crippling depression. It's not trying to hurt you, but it wants to live. Souls don't enjoy the same things as the ego. Souls want to fly by the seat of their pants, to live, to have adventures, to make mistakes, to learn, to grow. If you don't allow your soul to live, if you don't nurture that part of you, it will destroy you. It can even throw one catastrophe after another at you as a catalyst for your awakening. Again, it isn't trying to hurt you, but you need to wake up. It will tell you you need to wake up before big things start to happen. You'll get pings like, don't eat that, or don't work at this job. You should stop drinking. Why don't you try yoga or praying or meditation, or whatever the ping might be? It will always be something that would lead to your greater good. Too often, though, humans say, nah, I'm good, and that's too hard, or some other equally egoed excuse delivered by the ego but cooked up by the shadow. Then comes the dark night of the soul. You'll start slipping further and further into depression and cry out that you don't know why. You'll try antidepressants, weed, alcohol, or any other drug to numb the pain. This will continue on and off until you wake up. It could take years or decades or your entire life. Once you take that first step into awakening and keep taking those steps, then and only then will the pain start to recede. Eventually, it will be gone completely most days, and you'll be a person you never thought you could become. The spiritual path is called a path for a reason. The mind, body, and soul all need to be worked on. A lesson we'll dig into deeper later. That was the alarm clock version of the dark night of the soul. The next kind isn't as bad because you are more awake. Hopefully you have and are accumulating more tools to help yourself. The second dark night of the soul is your ongoing ego deaths. As each new realization of what you need to eliminate from your personality comes to the forefront of your mind, it will cause deep pain. Sometimes this pain will send you spiraling backwards for a bit. The spiritual path can seem like 2 steps forward, 1 step back. But as long as you keep moving forward again, once it's past, it'll be okay. This will also make a lot of sense once we get to the law of rhythm, one of the laws of the universe. Here is an example. Let's say you consider yourself a funny person and you're always going around telling naughty jokes. Everyone laughs, people think you're witty, but your soul knows that words make the universe. It's sending you pings to shh, it's not worth the laugh. Just stay quiet and listen to others and talk with compassion. The world doesn't need another naughty joke teller. Well, when you have the realization accepted by the ego, it's gotten past all the no buts and excuses the ego will make for its behavior. Once it's gone through that filter system, which gets shorter and easier as you progress, then whack, ouch, pain, you're into another dark night of the soul. That thick, twisted chest, pain knot is back. You are so hurt and embarrassed, so lost, you don't know what to do with yourself as you let this new realization in. Words are power. By telling naughty jokes, I'm damaging the universe. You sit back in front of the TV to binge watch Survivor because it lifts your spirits. You start gorging on chips and candy, but not alcohol. You've given that up. You aren't completely off your spiritual path. You're just down with an injury. You might start telling yourself, this is too hard. Maybe you should just quit, but hopefully you know you can't and you won't. Eventually, the sting will pass, like breaking up with a person you knew you shouldn't have been with anyway. Sooner or later, you'll be back on your feet. And the next time that opening comes to make that joke, maybe you change the words a bit so it's not so naughty. Eventually, though, you will just nod and smile and listen compassionately as other people speak. Learning to listen compassionately is how we can channel more grace into this world. Another lesson for our future. So these, dear people, are our dark nights of the soul. Hopefully, your first one is already done with. If you're here learning these lessons now from me or any of the other growing resources on a multitude of platforms, it's a good indication that it is. Have patience with yourself during the second kind. Try to eventually steer towards healing productively. Crystal baths and solfeggio healing frequencies, as well as singing bowls, are very healing. Any sound therapy will do wonders. Meditation and prayer get you deep into God, the universe, and your own soul, which always helps speed up intuition and healing as well as spiritual progression. There are many positive, forward-moving modalities we can use for healing. The best form of healing is sinking deep into yourself. To find the self, the tools and the information are out there. You can do this. The universe believes in you, and so do I.